Hi there, it's Kathy again. I want to talk to you today about something that's near and dear to my heart, how to manage difficult behaviors and support someone when they have a dementia. So my mother had early dementia. She developed it in her early 60s, and over the course of her 10-year journey with Alzheimer's disease, we, my family and I, siblings and I, witnessed both the heartbreaking losses and the small amounts of grace that really define caregiving for somebody with a dementia, which adds another layer. What began as subtle forgetfulness, evolved into a gradual reshaping of who my mother was and who I had to become to help care for her. Those years taught me patience, humility, and more so the power of presence. I learned that beneath the confusion, the memory loss, that her human spirit still responded to kindness, tone of voice, touch. She loved to sing and dance, and she never lost that. After my mother passed, after that 10 years professionally, I opened a practice in aging life care, geriatric care. I worked a lot with families and individuals who had various dementias, helped them navigate the many faces, from Alzheimer's to Lewy body to vascular dementia to frontal temporal lobe dementias. There are different kinds, which stresses the importance of getting an accurate diagnosis. I've seen the toll it takes on individuals, families, caregivers, and I've seen the transformation that happens when people are given the right tools and understanding and emotional support. And in all settings, homes, care facilities, hospitals, I have to say one thing about hospitals. They're not the best place for someone with memory loss. But one truth does remain is the connection matters more than perfection. The insights that I'm going to go over with you, the 12 that I've listed here, come from both sides of the journey as a daughter, family member, and as a professional RN and case care manager. Hopefully they'll help you. They represent not only what I know works in a practical sense, but also what helps to preserve a person's dignity and strengthen and keep those bonds that remain even as the memories fade away. So let's take a look at these 12 areas as a caregiver. When you have someone in your family, maybe a professional caregiver, maybe you're dealing with someone who has dementia. So the first one is approaching the individual. So approach with calm and respect, slowly and calmly, using a friendly tone, open facial expression. State your name and make eye contact. Address the person by his or her name. And if they're seated, stoop down so that your eyes are level. Do not tower over them. Approach from behind or the side without permission. Hi, this is Kathy. I'm behind you now. I'm just going to help you with your sweater. By not announcing, they're startled and sometimes they can react. I can tell you I have been smacked by many people because I didn't follow this rule. 2, when you're given instructions, keep it simple. One-step instruction. Here is your coat. That's it. Demonstrate a task when possible and be patient and repeat calmly if needed and focus on what to do, not what not to do. 3, getting dressed. Encourage as much independence as possible. Lay out the clothes. Allow the person to do as much as he or she can. Put them in the order they should be put on. Underwear, shirt, suit, coat. Otherwise, you'll find underpants, overpants. Use easy to manage clothing, not difficult. Limit choices to avoid confusion. And use consistent routines. Simplify the closets and the drawers and use cue cards or notes as reminders. Number 4 is bathing. That's always an interesting one, but it is a time for comfort. Consistency builds comfort, so keep the bathing times the same time each day or the same time each day of the week you do it. Prepare everything in advance and ensure the room is warm. Speak gently and reassuringly, and again, allow someone to do as much as possible with cueing, supervision, and oversight to ensure safety while maintaining their dignity. Slow and steady gets it done. Eating. Eating is more than a meal. Make mealtime engaging. Involve the person in simple food preparation. My mother was a great cook, loved to cook, so there were things she retained really far into her disease. Ensure someone seated comfortably if they have other medical problems, and minimize background noise and distractions. Again, one task at a time. Hi, can you peel this potato? When their own eating, small portions with adaptive utensils, finger foods, and check for any swallowing difficulties that can come as the disease advances. Remember, some people might have forgotten that they've eaten, so they'll keep eating, or think they already have eaten, so they don't eat. Gentle reminders help. Toileting and hygiene is a big one. A lot of people are turned off by that, but if you establish a regular routine and use absorbent products as needed, maintain good hygiene because you want to prevent infections such as urinary tract infections or UTIs. They exacerbate or make worse memory loss. Reminders or supervision may be enough, but later on, hands-on help will be necessary. Stay calm, matter of fact. If you cannot do it, have another family member do it. And if not, then find somebody outside. You may have to hire someone. As a nurse, I could do it, but one of my sisters was repulsed by it, so we never had her do that. 7, wandering. Movement is essential for health. Use it or lose it. But consider the environment. Make it safe by securing hazardous areas like basements, bathrooms. No medications. Medications locked up or out of sight. Anything that you care about, lock up or out of sight. You don't want to stop wandering, but you need to structure it as a purposeful activity. Insert locks on the doors. We had locks high up that, someone could access, but my mother couldn't. Next is rummaging, hoarding. These behaviors stem from the need for comfort or a purpose. So redirect with music or a game or a familiar task. Get a rummaging box with safe, familiar items. Keep your own valuables such as keys or money out of sight. Also consider, is the behavior harmful or is it just inconvenient for me? If it's harmless, just let it be. Let it be. The next one is the environment. Safety becomes paramount as memory loss advances. A calm, orderly space reduces confusion. Use color cues. For example, paint the bathroom door a different color to make it easier to find. Avoid shiny floors, scatter rugs, or dark thresholds because they appear like holes to people who have memory loss. If your loved one is expressing a desire, I want to go home, go home. My mother said this all the time. It means they're feeling unsafe or disoriented. So redirect, introduce a familiar routine, put on some music, and reassure them so that they feel secure. 10 is behaviors. These can become really difficult. But all behavior is a form of communication, so ask, does the person feel safe? Is there physical discomfort, hunger, thirst? Maybe you need to use the bathroom. So what triggered the reaction? Is it noise, crowds, overstimulation, a change in routine? You may find a person with dementia following a caregiver, a spouse, a family member called shadowing because of this fear. So gentle reassurance and comfort are often the best responses. Now, behavior can lead to what we call a catastrophic reaction, which is number 11. These sudden emotional outbursts are usually triggered by overstimulation, crowds, noise, confusions. We see this when there's a lot of grandkids around screaming, yelling, and if this happens, like, we always plan for it around the holidays. Calmly remove the person from the environment and offer reassurance and help them settle into a quiet, safer space where they feel safe. Review, if you're not sure what triggered it, review what happened and you might be able to identify to avoid it later in the future. But have that plan B, especially if you're around the holidays or anticipating group activities. And the last one, which is always difficult to deal with, are delusions and hallucinations. This perception can be frightening for both the person and the person caring for him. So stay calm, listen, do not argue, just reassure. Adjust lighting, reduce stimulation, especially in the late afternoon, to prevent what we refer to as sundowning, which is a confusion, an agitation that worsens at dusk. But if delusions and hallucinations are frequent, check for underlying causes such as infection, medication side effects, sleep disturbances. You need to consult with a healthcare provider to review what's going on. Maybe medication can help. So caring for someone with dementia, it's not just about tasks, it's about relationships. Every action, every tone, every gesture communicates safety or fear. So when we slow down, simplify, and meet people where they are, we create moments of connections and peace in an area or within a person that just seems like ultra chaos. Compassion, inner stillness become our most powerful tool, and so does patience. So, after decades in nursing education and family caregiving, I've learned that caring for others requires both reflection and renewal. So beginning in 2006, I will be offering a new Caregiver Retreat Series, which I call Wisdom and Renewal for Caregivers. It's a space for those who give so much of themselves to reconnect and rediscover their own inner strength. We use shared stories, guided reflections, and practical supports. So I'm excited to launch this because I know from a professional viewpoint and from personal experience, the balance between the demands of care and the nourishment our soul needs continue. Because while we cannot always change the course of this disease or the trajectory of this disease, we can change how we walk beside those we love with presence and patience and inner peace. So again, thank you for watching, and I hope some of this information is helpful for you.